Well, we've all been watching with enthusiasm this week as Miss Montana takes part in the 75th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. There's one Missoula man who knows every inch, every rivet on the historic plane. That's because for years, master mechanic Don McNack kept her in the air.
Johnson Flying Service was very unique. When they hired a mechanic or a pilot, they wouldn't stay, usually they wouldn't stay with one airplane. If they were versatile and wanted to learn, they could fly a helicopter, they could fly any number of airplanes. When I started with the company in the winter of 59-60, we had roughly 40 airplanes and 9 helicopters.
Look at the pictures in the Museum of Mountain Flying and you'll get an idea of the life Don McNack enjoyed, his colleagues, and those amazing aircraft.
I made it a point to try to work on all of them, but I love the TBM, the Travel Air here, and the DC-3s, the older stuff.
A career that saw him not only wrenching on aircraft in Missoula and Johnson's base in McCall, Idaho, but flying on a variety of assignments, even being tasked with loading hay off the Missoula airport and then hanging on for dear life in the cargo bay as loads were delivered to backcountry airstrips for the Forest Service.
Oh, it's all reliable. In the hands of a good pilot, if you lost an engine and you weren't overgross and had to climb, they could usually make it to home port unscathed.
And although there were some white-knuckled flights, especially in our mountain weather, the now christened Miss Montana and her sister planes were up to the task.
The DC-3 was really ahead of its time. It's got a lot of good features. Keep in mind it was developed in the late 30s. It's really an all-weather airplane.
The exception was during a blizzard in January 1962 when Governor Don Nutter was killed when his plane went down on a flight to Cut Bank.
But they ran into very severe weather east of the mountains and they lost a wing, which is unheard of on a DC-3. It's a good, strong airplane.
That meant a winter of work for Don and his fellow A&P mechanics as the FAA issued an air directive ordering thousands of passenger-carrying DC-3s to be retrofitted.
Thousands of rivets and new quarter-inch bolts, hooked up the cables, and away she went. Then we bought another airplane in and did the same. Noisy, picture four guys, I'm one of them, rap, tap, tap.
Now the main noise in the old Johnson hangar has been the rebuilding of Miss Montana and the cheers as she's made her triumphant flight to France. But now in his late 80s, Don was helping but staying away from those rivet guns.
Just clean up stuff and do very minor work. And it's kind of nice to do that.
That was a great interview. If you want to learn more about Miss Montana, Don McNack, and his pioneering colleagues, you can visit the Museum of Mountain Flying just east of the main terminal at Missoula International Airport.